Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hello. Ilan na ba ang mga kasama natin? Wow, dami. So I will just greet some of you. Meron tayong pogi na naghahanda at sasama sa atin ngayong gabi. At siya ay walang iba kundi ang nabuhay mula sa pagka-block ng internet. Ang ating magiting na kaibigang sino ba yan? Rocky, Norman, Delcy, good evening sa inyo lahat. Hello. Going AV Geek. Oh, bago to Going AV Geek. Good evening. Who's there? Marian. And you're live with us, me, JP, and ready? Ready na ba? Ready when you are. There you go. Ito mo na.
Kasakit ako.
Totoo daw. Yan. Yan, dapat yan. Flex mo. Oops. Teka. Up. Audio mo. So, flex natin yung ubo natin. Ay, attorney, yung, effects ba yan? Effects? Yung ating nakikita
yan.
Hindi, yung hair is vanishing.
Yung yan, highlights lang yung highlights. Highlight.
Effects. Good evening to Rocky and sino pa? And Laura.
Minsan lang ako naliligo eh. Napansin ko pa.
Naligo siya, kaya nabawasan na naman ang mga buhok.
Hindi na ako nag-shampoo eh.
Manood nga tayo ng sarili natin. Ito na naman ang
Bagal na naman yan, sige.
Hindi, sa YouTube na to. Diyan lang siya sa tabi. Para makita lang natin. Okay, so how are you all? Are you naguguluhan na? Kasi may mga nagme-message siya sa akin, naguguluhan na daw sila sa aming pinag-uusapan. Saan ba ito patungo? Ano ba nangyayari? Kami ba ay nag-iimbento lang ng mga issue? Diba? Siyempre, lahat ng issue, invento lang yan ng tao. Diba? Gawa ng tao din.
It's a product of human mind.
Meron ba kaming pinanggagalingan? Okay, ganito yung tanong. Was this plain invention by these two guys here? One with the glasses with falling hair and me with short hair and gray. Gawa-gawa lang pa namin to. Yeah. If you base it on our hair, it started when mine was longer.
And matanda naman ako kay JP. Hello.
We had many topics already pala na na-cover, no? Ni-review ko lang. Lakihan nga natin, sorry maliit eh.
Ano yan?
May mga blanco pa ako dyan, no? Hindi ko pa nga natapos. Okay, lakihan natin ng font ng konti. Review lang to, ano yung mga pinagsimulan natin dito sa ating kahibangan. Di ba?
Social ethics.
Di ba? Nagsimula tayo dyan, di ba, Tony? Tama ba?
Tama.
We discussed actually, Clarita, na? The issue of NDF, LCA. Sino sa inyo nandito? Konti pa lang kami audience doon. So, if you like to hear what we want to say, or what we said about that,
watch it again.
Watch it again. AGP and JP Live. So, social ethics. Ano nga bang natin dyan? Ano bang conclusion natin dyan, attorney?
Ang conclusion natin dyan we will not prejudge people. We have to analyze issues not on the basis of our preconceived ideas or rules of what is right or wrong.
Yeah, and then we proceeded to mind mapping pa, no?
Mind mapping how.
Yeah.
Yes.
And ikaw yung nagbigay ng magandang guidance sa mga audience natin doon, no? How to imagine the entire argument, di ba? Before you speak out, di ba? Before you speak out, hi nila. Uy, thank you. Kape muna. Wow. Salamat. Sana man.
Meron yatang itatanong si Ahmed TV 45 UP.
Go.
Medyo personal daw.
You don't care. Walang
salamat po, Ninalayo.
Go ahead. Just write it there and then we will answer it.
Salamat po.
And
ako, COVID-19. Oo, kasi nagpa
Vaccine.
booster ako and then pagkatapos kong magpa-inject ng booster about mga 30 minutes, pagdating ko sa bahay, nangawit na yung buong katawan ko.
20 yun sa kanya. COVID-20. Anyway, wag na tayong banggitin yan kasi maano tayo, masisensor tayo niyan. And then, we went to social contract. Di ba?
Yes, social
We
contract.
went to theory. And there, we tried to understand the relationship of social circles to the bigger circle, small circle, big circle, di ba? Hanggang sa maging isang bansa. And then we discussed the different forms of government out there. And then the evolution, no? From what kind of a system to what we have now. Then we discussed yung mga differences. And then, we delved much on the theory of democracy. Tama?
Amik TV, okay, ito na yung tanong ni Amik TV.
Where is it?
What's that? Bakit ba na-atake ni Maharly? Kasi personal.
Can I?
Kasi ako sorry for
answer?
Who is this Maharlika?
Hindi, I was asked kasi kahapon. I was asked about that kahapon. So, I got curious. And then, actually, I didn't get curious. Somebody followed up the subject matter na, avid follower ko din dun sa 1Dangkal. And then I remember, this was brought up last night. And sabi ko, what is that all about? And then sabi nga, sige, I'll send you a link.
Yeah. What is it all about?
And then I watched it. And it was just a cheap, cheapo, alam mo yung style pasikat na para sumikat ka, tirahin mo yung isang taong sikat, tapos alam mo naman na trying to
what
dare.
What is it all about?
Wala.
Bakit? Where did she enter? When? Meron ba tayong sinabi tungkol sa kanya? I don't remember ever talking about a certain Maharlika in my life. Who's this person?
Ang issue niya ata na napanood ko just a bit of one of the videos that was sent to me was parang tinawag niya ata si Trixie na Zoraida, which is not wrong, di ba? Why? What's wrong with Zoraida? Zoraida is a person.
If she's talking about Zoraida Sanchez, well,
she's a person.
if it is, kung sinasabi niya ay direction, she's wrong because Zoraida Sanchez is a graduate of mass communications in UP.
Yeah,
and
she's bright.
She's actually a really intelligent person in a very successful mass communicator.
Yeah.
So what is wrong with that?
Nothing nga. Kaya nga. So, okay. Unfortunately daw, she's accusing again na yung dinumog daw siya ng mga tao na followers natin sa Luminous. Dinumog daw siya. Ba't daw siya dudumugin? Tapos yun yung napanood ko na tinitira niya yung mga taga-Luminous na mga wala daw mga parang yan ba yung tinatawag mo mga matatalino? Parang kailan ba sinabi ni Trixie din yan in her capacity as press secretary yung trying to justify who the Luminous people are? I do not know. I've never heard it. So anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is okay. That is one of the things that we talked yesterday. Okay, and I will flash that. We talked about that yesterday. Not precisely, but this is applicable. Okay, so communication versus the Philippine history. So we looked at this angle, and many people got interested about the hoaxes, the things that we were taught are not logical, but they are sticking into our minds because that was communicated to us through books.
Controversial.
Mga controversial na mga sa ating history that is passed on to us through books, reinforced by our teachers, which is still communication, and then reinforced by our media. So everything now becomes truth. All right? And the truth doesn't make sense. Right? And then I placed a blank here because ano nga ba sinunod natin na topic dyan?
Which one?
After that, communication and
Philippine history?
Yes.
Continuation pa rin noon, pero we talked about the Chinese guys.
Yeah, we talked a lot of Marites here. Tama. Yeah, Marites. And then, I do not know why suddenly, when we were doing Marites, si Vice President din nagmarites din, no? Gaya-gaya.
Sinong Vice President?
Yeah, yun din
Si
yung sinabi niya na history is just marites, di ba? Parang gano'n. O
yeah,
ano
yeah,
pala,
yeah.
chismis sabi niya, chismis. History is just chismis. And then we
Mm.
went through the
Chismis.
ngayon, no? So chismis, language,
There was
communication.
actually there was an episode where we talked about history being chismis. In fact,
Yes.
yeah.
That's true. And then we
Ito,
went into the
teka muna.
mm,
Ito, sinabi niya, no? Kasi naman, Osam never give advice about which people to congratulate on Facebook. What
what?
congratulate on? I didn't give advice. I commented on, okay, this is, so ano
What
ngayon
is
ang
that?
relasyon ni Mahardika dito sa post ko? I posted.
What
Kasi
what
si
did you say? Ah,
Chow, who is, who I know,
ah, oh
si
yeah.
Chow Yumol, Dr. Yumol.
Mm,
I
mm,
knew him in the beginning nung nagagalit pa siya sa kay Duterte because he was accusing Duterte of not giving him attention, and but before that, when he was in prison, I offered to help him to be his lawyer. So I know
mm,
this guy. Okay, I know this guy. I haven't met him personally, but online we are friends.
mm.
Okay, and then
And
nung
then
nangyari ngayong Sunday, may nabaril nga. Tapos sinabi ko sa'yo, di ba, na one of the suspects is Chow. Sabi ko sa'yo, and then you were shocked and all that. And we talked about him a little bit. Tapos nakita ko sa wall niya, ang dami nagko-congratulate. May congratulations sa'yo sa kulungan, mga ganyan. Sabi ko, okay,
insensitive.
Chow, if it is true that he went through this, nag-disintegrate yung kanyang rationality because he is a doctor. He's a very rational person. Tapos, gaganyan ninyo pa. Ibig sabihin, this guy is frustrated. He had to decide to do something that is against the law and then gaganon ninyo pa.
Which brings us
So,
back to item number 1, social ethics, di ba? In
Yeah.
relation to
Kasi-
social media.
Because I was feeling bad about the guy. He's my friend. And then, that he had to resort to something like that. At that time, I was just assuming that it was he who did the shooting. But it was just an assumption. At sabi ko, even if it's not yet true, na siya nga yung, huwag niyong gaganyan, i-congratulate niyo dyan sa, what the diba? Biktima na tong tao na hindi siya pinapansin. Imagine how frustrating, how sad that person is who had to resort to that kind of action because nobody is listening to him, and then suddenly you flood into his wall and congratulate him. What the hell is that? So that's what I said, and I go, there's something so wrong with this kind of attitude.
Yes, which
But I
is
don't
just
remember ever talking about Maharlika.
no, we don't.
This woman. Who is this woman?
Ito daw siya. Nauna daw siya si TP, pala yung binira niya. Ngayon si Trinity.
What?
Nagpapasikat nga. Ayan lang.
I saw.
Yung ganyang style, okay? Yeah.
So, I don't
yeah.
know this woman. I didn't say anything about this woman. I was just talking about my friend Chow, who had to shoot someone because he was frustrated. Tapos gaganyan ninyo.
And which brings us back to, di ba? Our topic now, and social media nga. Before we go to our review from yesterday, no? So we went to language, communication, then you talked about English, di ba? We talked about it, about the medium of instruction, and then you were proposing to use whatever, it is a healthy discussion kung ano yung mga options. But I think that got settled when the president said we should use English. Okay? And then, nakikinig ata si Bongbong sa'yo, pare. Sinagot ka eh. Sinabi, ano ito pinagsasabi nito? Sabihin ko nga, baka marami pang maniwala dyan na magturo sila ng gamit vernacular. English. Okay? Para matapos ang usapan. Okay. So, how are you English? Yun yung title nun eh. How are you English?
How are you English? Yeah, I remember.
Okay. And then now, we went to the media. media
Yeah.
and the media in the Philippines. And then we found the problem of Maria. How do you solve the problem of Maria? At anong mga
Maria Ressa.
pinagagawa niya?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we wanted to define what the hell is this thing going on? And then, kasi evidently it's wrong to say that this is a product of a communist mind, that she's crazy. No, that's not right. Those things are
I
not
don't
right.
think
You
she's
should.
crazy.
Mhm. In fact, we were able to establish that this girl is actually ano yung tawag dyan? An agent? Agent pa siya, agent. Promotor.
Sino agent?
No, what do you call her? She's
Provocateur.
provocateur in pursuit of an ideology which we called the
Pluralist, elitist.
yun, pluralist. Okay. Pluralist,
Elitist.
elitist agenda. Ito ba ay aming invento lang ni Ahmed? Okay?
Well,
Big
as a matter of fact, I
disagreements.
remember we discussed the pluralist, elitist term or concept using the experience of the United States of America
Hmm?
in the earlier, well, maybe not earlier, yeah, pretty early part of their democracy because it was just on the seventh president, which
Ito, may
was
pogi, may
Andrew
pogi. May pogi, may pogi.
Jackson. Ay,
May pogi, may pogi, may pogi.
si ano kumukha ni Ed Lingao.
Keep it cool. It's all about misunderstandings. Yes, precisely. We are talking about communication, and that's why this is just timely, very, very timely, no? And putting back, okay, I will just
Wait.
pull up.
I have to answer this, Catherine.
Yes,
It is.
answer it, ha? Kasi I will pull up the last slide we
I
used
didn't.
yesterday.
Okay. Seriously. I didn't know that she was on that wall. I didn't see her name. I saw so many names, okay, on that day, and the messages were, congratulations, you may you rot in jail. Good luck sa'yo, tirahin ka sa puwet, mga ganyan. So I was reacting on that, okay? I did not mention Maharlika at all. I mean, I don't know this person, so she's not important to me if that's what you're asking. And I am not commenting on somebody who is who did not do anything to me. So that's really fucked up because I don't know her. And for her to accuse what ako bang ina-accuse niya si Trixie?
Hindi, ikaw, wag ka nang sumasaw.
Maharlika. We don't know you.
Okay.
If we cared enough about you to talk about you, would have told you about it first. But no, we don't know you. Okay?
Yeah.
If that is your style of communication where you insert yourself in the host of people, and then leave us out of it because we do not know you.
you wanted anything from yeah, it's a useless ano. So
Yeah.
all right.
All right.
But that is a
Let's go.
style, huh? That is a style in communication. And that is the cheapest trick of all, no? Para sumikat ka, you hitch onto somebody else's ano, and then bring her down, and then bring him down, and then you go up. This is exactly the strategy Maria Ressa is doing. She's a nobody in terms of a president, okay? She's just heckling a president, heckling a president, so that nagalit.
Pag nagalit sa kanya yung presidente,
Pag nagalit sa kanya yung
api siya. Pa-victim siya. Yeah.
It's the same strategy. All right. So if you keep on listening to us, you will get to understand the world better.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is, kung followers kayo ni Maharlika, no problem. I mean,
Yeah.
hindi
You
naman
can.
kami siselusan ng followers. Hindi naman kami Gabby and Sharon and Dora and whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know her. Okay?
Okay.
In fact,
Dito tayo.
sabi niya, hindi naman daw nagkakatraction. Sabi ko, ano hindi nagkakatraction?
Hayaan mo
Maharlika.
na.
Ganun.
Shoot.
Okay, let's go. Speech is protected.
Speech is okay.
Ito.
All right. In the same way that she can talk, all right? in the same way that we
Yeah.
are saying here now, do not stop us from talking. Let Maharlika talk.
Let it talk. We
Okay?
are, di ba? Yan yung discussion natin na
Let her
everyone
talk.
should have the freedom to speak.
Uh,
Now, if you're an
even,
idiot and you
okay?
will just say a lot of things about people who
Let
did
her
not
be.
even say anything about you, then
Oo.
be happy.
And I know because I listened to the clip no mga about mga one fourth of it. I know she
Mm.
knows what she's doing. She knows that
Yeah.
she is not committing any libel, so she has
Mm.
been careful about her words. Okay.
Mhm.
So this is just she's just exercising her freedom of speech. Let her be.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
her follower. Oh, yeah. In
Oo.
fact, okay, you guys, if you are hurt for Trixie, don't be because okay,
Hindi nga siya
Trixie reached
napaapektuhan
that
eh.
point. Okay, Trixie reached that point na kung magpapaapekto ka sa mga ganyang strategy, you have to
Mm.
be guided by this very simple rule here about communication, which is based on what we studied in the case of Chavez versus
Yep,
Gonzalez, no?
yep,
Sabi
yep.
ng Supreme Court, speech is protected. Private speech, nobody can touch that.
Touch it.
And then the
Mm.
press is protected, okay? So much in as much as they do not infringe upon those uh, communications
Reputation of
prohibited,
other
no?
people.
Okay, yeah. So there's
Yeah.
only very limited interference that government can do. And our question
Right,
here
right.
is, why can private actors regulate communications on the internet? All right. In the same way that di ba, you would feel like we have to have a position on somebody else's speech, or alam mo
Mm.
yun, we need to alam mo yun, take down someone, or alam mo yun, respond to someone. Go back to our first episode.
Yep.
Ito yung sinasabi namin. Just think it over. You don't have to
Mm.
answer. You don't have to talk. It's
Yes.
just about hate.
Yes.
Wala. Nothing will happen to it. All right?
Nothing. Diba?
Ah, now,
Yeah.
we went. I'll go straight to the end where we made some. Okay. Here. You know? And this is the issue that we defined as the problem. Okay? Na itong mga. Okay, we compared no the mainstream media versus the
Mm.
bloggers. The
Yeah. Yeah.
mainstream media, okay, they are a cooperative, they are competitors, but they're cooperative or co-optors, no? They are co-opted, in fact, no?
Mm. 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 Mm.
But yung
Co-opted, ha?
mains,
Oh,
okay, huh?
maganda
They're
yung word na yun.
co-opted, huh? And then itong bloggers, they're totally unregulated and
Yeah.
very, nag-aaway, di ba? Nagre-react. Why did they become like this? As we discussed earlier from that episode last night, we know that this is a business enterprise kasi. No, it's a business enterprise.
Yeah.
It's supply driven. It's it's a, it's advertiser driven. Okay,
Supply driven,
but the
ha? Sige,
yeah
mamaya tatanong ako
yeah
tungkol dyan. I
yeah.
don't understand
Okay,
that.
and then on this
Ah,
side, the bloggers, we are prosumers. We are producers and consumers of our own content. So we make
ah.
our content, you like it, you listen to it, you don't, you want to react to it, and it's very interactive. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
People here are there for business. Dito sa MSM, while tayo dito
Mm.
sa mga vloggers, we're here for a hobby, we're here for a vocation, we're here for an advocacy, slightly for
That's
business.
right.
Some people do business here kasi nagsisell,
Incidentally. Incidentally lang,
okay?
incidentally.
And I
Ah,
already gave you the examples that in terms of amounts, ay nako, yung business na pinapasok natin dito sa social media, it's
mm.
so mani, so barya as to the money that goes into the mainstream media. Okay?
Yeah.
They have so much more to lose. In fact, they don't even count us as a competition there. But, yung una nating binasa na document ni Rappler says there na ang strategy na pinapa-impose nila is they're coordinating with advertising agencies so that even itong mga bloggers will not have any chance of making money. Okay?
Mm.
So kung magkano lang yung mga katiting na pwede pa sanang kikitain, wala talagang mapupunta sa kanila. Ang tawag nila doon is
Pero bakit kung supply?
supply side restriction.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay?
Okay, okay. I understand. I understand.
So that there will be no support for your growth. They now
Oh.
kumbaga they now
Oh,
linkage with
they stop doing the things.
linkage with the advertising agencies na. Okay, do not make any
Oh,
placements there because in the Philippines we are
okay.
so centralized. All right? Now,
Mm.
ito tong terminologies na to, no? I just came across this one when this content from social media was still budding, there was a group of librarians. Actually, their concern is that's new knowledge also. How do we
Yes.
capture that?
Mm.
Because ang concern nila is how do you retain knowledge for the future, no? So
Oh,
if
because they are
these are
librarians,
books,
conserve they conserve
oo,
knowledge. Oh,
yes. Tapos
that's
sabi
right.
nila, maybe we should make a distinction about content that comes from community reporters or community journalists.
Mm.
Sabi ko, mas maganda natin kasi vlogger, no? Parang walang kadating-dating. Well, it stopped
Yeah.
there, no? So we said yesterday in our discussion, okay, the problem with us is we are disorganized, and that's why they feel that they have the right to have us regulated. Now the
By
question
whom?
is,
Sino ang magre-regulate?
sila.
Sila din. Sila din.
Oh, we know that the government will not because
Will not do that.
their hands are tied, no? So are we inventing this whole theory?
No, we are not.
Okay? Unfortunately for us, akala namin yung aming, alam mo yun, process
Original
deduction,
kami.
original kami.
Hindi
Shit.
pala.
Nung nag-review kami of related literature, my golly.
Doon
Yung
pa
mga
lang sa
naunang-
doon pa lang sa diniscuss ko yung pluralist elitist doon kay Jackson. It's the same thing, di ba? It was happening in the US in the 1800s, late 1800s. So it's happening here again. We are not original.
Yes, unfortunately we are not. Okay? Kumbaga, we arrived at the same conclusions as our peers in Cambridge and in the United Nations are actually right there, right now. And this, okay, so what we
Yep.
found, okay, we suspected that it was not just a Philippine thing, and it's actually a global issue. An issue that
Yeah.
we Filipinos are not aware of. And as we were saying, this is worse than communism. This is an internal battle within democracy. Yeah, which
Yep.
Attorney
It
Ahmed
wants us to go back a few steps in the timeline of the development of democracy, which we just copied from the Americans. Yeah.
The whole world copied from the Americans, not just us, di ba?
Yeah,
Not just us.
yeah. That's right. That's right.
Okay,
All
because
modern democracies
all
are
modern democracies.
basically patterned to America.
Oo. Okay, so sige, you just go ahead. I'll just read their comments para you discuss to them yung kumbaga theoretical concept kasi marami tayong mga bagong listeners dito, no, about the pluralist elitist category of our kumbaga adversary. Hindi naman natin sasabing enemy because as we have always said, no, all talk is welcome. There is no one authorized to shut down anyone. Right? In fact, it's healthy for everyone to be talking.
Di ba si Lord Acton ba yun o si Lord Acton nga yun? I may disagree with what you say.
But I will fight for your right.
Your right to say it. Ganyan. Si Lord Acton ba yun o yeah, I think it was Lord Acton. Lord Acton was a pretty weird political philosopher, but the only thing that's brilliant to me, the only thing that's brilliant that he said is that one. I may disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right say it. Yun nga, kahit na nag-disagree ako sa iyo, kahit na binumura mo na ako, uh, I'll just, I'll just put up with it. Why? Because you have the right to say it.
Yeah, and I can argue with you. I can argue with you on the merits of the issue that we are discussing, di ba? At yun yung sinasabi natin. When you argue with someone, stick to the main issue, right? Do not
Yeah.
go beyond those fallacies. We discussed pala fallacies, no? Earlier.
A few of
Alam
them.
nyo,
A few of them.
yes, a few of the fallacies we discussed. All right. And where do we begin now? What do you want to start with?
Di ba na we also
Okay.
talked about, we reviewed fact checks and all that, and we said that
Mhm.
fact checking is one method of
Mhm.
implementing this policy or this agenda of limiting what should have been a massive massive enjoyment of rights of
Mhm.
speech, expression, and publication. Kasi
Yeah.
yun yung development natin by Andrew Jackson, President Andrew Jackson. He turned the democracy of the US from the aristocratic, elitistic kind of democracy. Kung yung democratic sila, may mga rights ang lahat, pero remember that mga babae hindi pwede bumoto, mga black people, walang property, hindi pwede bumoto, kahit may
Mhm.
property, they can't vote. So, democratic, pero may mga nalilive out. Andrew
Mhm.
Jackson, no, stop that. We have to give everyone the fruits of democracy. Everyone. Okay, so lahat na may karapatan magsalita, bumoto, ganito, ganyan. Hanggang sa, and then it didn't happen overnight. Even the African American rights movement did not move into fruition until the 60s, 1960s. Di ba? And
Mhm.
the women's liberation movement came later than that. Well, almost at the same time. So, ang tagal nun. Si Andrew Jackson is 1894, ay 1890, no, 1824. Yung women's slave and African American civil rights movement happened in the 50s, 60s, 70s. So, ang layo niyan. But it was already started with Andrew Jackson. Ito sa atin ngayon, we started democracy at the stage where Andrew Jackson entered into the scene of democracy in the US. So we did not experience everything that went before that. Okay? Hindi natin alam kung paano anong itsura ng aristocratic democracy, elitistic, pluralistic democracy, hindi natin alam yan.
Mhm. Mhm.
But all we know is that nauna ang pluralistic democracy at sumunod na doon yung populist na everyone in the population is a free person. Okay, so nauna yung pluralist, yung grupo-grupo, partido, grupo-grupo, and then there's this aristocratic group na sila usually ang nai-elect to the government, sila yung naging senator, sila yung gumagawa ng policy, and even their children after them, ganun. Pagdating ni Andrew Jackson, wala na, binuwag niya yan lahat. Sabi ni Andrew Jackson, anyone, from now on, anyone, even a farmer, can be a president, can be a senator. So, nandyan na tayo ngayon. Ang gusto ni Maria Ressa, mali.
Yeah, ibig sabihin, that concept that we are taught as natural rights or which are, kumbaga, inherent human rights, these are actually not present in the time of our predecessors, no? Kumbaga, these are relatively new inventions and these are not kumbaga recognized as natural before. Even nga yung kung kami ni Ahmed
Human
yung
rights.
nag-uusap, no?
Kailan lang na
Even
nangyari?
human life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go back to the time of the Romans when you can put gladiators there as part of entertainment.
Yep.
Okay, even the respect for human life as a sacred thing. That is not a normal human relationship.
And there was slavery where you can actually own another human being.
Or you can actually have a human being be eaten by a lion in front of everyone else.
Yeah,
Diba?
for entertainment.
For entertainment. So you can see these things that we are taught to think that it has always been there. No, they're not. All right?
Yeah.
And there are things na itong discovery natin na to, which are always, kumbaga, which are old enemies in this battlefield of power, di ba? Power to eh. This is a power game. It has not always been between democracy versus communism, US versus Russia, Marcos versus Dilawan, Pula versus ano. No. The older
Nope.
virus is, okay, this is a virus eh. The older virus in democracy is the pluralist elitist. Ang okay, tayo, we are pluralists. That is what we are.
Actually,
Okay?
pluralism is not wrong. It's
Pluralism
actually
is
good.
it's democracy. No?
Yeah.
Pluralism
Democratic.
means tanggapin mo yung iba-ibang opinion ng iba't ibang tao. Let them talk. Walang censorship. Alam mo yun? Let everyone rise. Walang lamangan. Let the law protect everyone in the same way. Equal protection, equal rights. Yun yung pluralism. And we are like that. Tama? Sino ba sa inyo dito ang gustong gustong maging anong tawag dyan? Yung mga
Individual.
elitist.
Yung individual, yung mass,
Out kayo,
mass
out kayo,
democracy.
out kayo. Out kayo, out. Kung hindi kayo katulad sa amin, out kayo. Oh. Sino yung mga ganyan? Di ba yung mga kinagagalit natin yan sa mga dilawan? Di ba? Sila yung ganyan, di ba?
Kakancel.
Yung hindi ka na gagawing magulang. O saan ka makakahanap yan? Pluralism ba yan? Pag hindi ikaw katulad ng ang pag-iisip, hindi na kita nanay. Hala. Anong klase pag-iisip yan? Oh. And we discussed that.
Kasi
tama?
diba, I remember when we were in college, IUP, the discussion of pluralism was not very clear. Ang pinag-uusapan ng pluralism ay sa pamamagitan ng rhetoric ni Karl Marx. Kasi ang pluralism, as we understand it now as part of democracy, looks very much like feudalism as discussed by the socialist tradition of discussing politics. Kasi yung feudalism, yung grupo-grupo, yung king, meron siyang meron siyang fiefdom, may mga serf siya doon, mga slaves siya, hindi naman slaves, yung mga villagers niya, at marami yan silang mga ganyan noblemen, which is very much like that. Di ba? Pluralist system na
Pluralist
maraming
elitist
groups.
yan.
Yan,
Yes,
exactly.
maraming group.
So,
but there was
walang
an elite.
discussion na noon ng college tayo, walang discussion about pluralist elitism ang tawag yan. Ang tinatawag natin dyan noon, feudalism.
Feudalism.
Remember? Yeah, that's right. But, which is wrong. We are not talking about feudalism here, although it looks like feudalism. We are talking about democracy still, not feudalism. And we are talking about democracy that is pluralist, elitist. Yan.
Na merong isang grupo ng mga tao na iniisip nila na sila lang yung may karapatan na magkaroon ng say as to what everyone else should
do.
Should be thinking about themselves, should be able to think about the future that they can reach. Kumbaga, ilimit mo lang dyan. Hanggang dyan lang yan sila. So, for you to be able to do that, you must control communication. Okay? Yun yung ating thesis dito na for that system to work, there should be clear clamp on knowledge. And we found that to be very true in the sense na, di ba, nasabi natin to na don't we find it weird na tayo mga Pilipino, we speak English, we speak but we do not really discover things on our own, or it's not even allowed in our culture to be discovering things like what we're doing now. How many people would like to listen to us? Kayo lang yung mga matatalino. Yung iba dyan, spy pa. Ayaw magsalita.
Are we sure na sila yung matatalino? But anyway, Brian Jose Años, she expects an apology. No. I don't know her. I was not talking about her. If she
Sino yan?
claims that she was the only one who said congratulations and therefore I'm not talking about her, then she's the center of the universe and that's what she's
Sino yan?
she
Sino yan?
thinks
Sino yan?
herself. No, I
Hindi ko
don't
na...
know her and I didn't talk about her. So
Sino ba yun? Okay, can I be guided for a little bit? So, si Maharlika pa rin itong pinag-iusapan nyo?
Hindi, ngayon lang sinagot ko lang kasi she
Kaya nga.
perceives lie. Why would I lie about knowing her? I don't know her.
Sino
I haven't watched any stuff that she's done.
who perceived it as a lie?
Brian Lucianos.
Ilagay mo
follower
dito.
of Maharlika, Brian?
Ilagay mo
No,
nga
I
dito
will not
sa...
apologize to her because I don't know her. I was not talking about her.
Okay,
And
wait.
if she wants to make me believe that I'm talking about her because she's the only one on that wall who said congratulations, then she has to prove it. Because I can prove that there are other people there who said congratulations, and that's what I saw.
Why would she expect an apology from Luminous? May kasalanan daw ba si Luminous sa kanya, Brian? No. Wait.
I don't know.
I just want to know. Because I'm also an admin there. Okay, I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know. So, Brian, if you can enlighten us, you would be of great help. Just let us know what she said kasi I do not want to listen to her. Okay?
I do not know her and I will not talk about her anymore.
No, alamin mo na natin kung ano yung kanyang...
useless to me.
Right. So, kung nire-regulate, kung nire-regulate po nila tayo, pwede na po ba natin silang hingan ng tax? No, ikaw pa ang hihingian ng tax. Kasi when somebody regulates you, that means siya ang may power sa'yo. The power to tax, the power to regulate.
Police.
The power of government. Police power. Explain mo yan, sir. Mas magaling ka mag-explain yan. What government does.
Ang gusto nila actually is to be the government's proxy, okay? To be the government's proxy in regulating the freedoms of speech, expression, and publication. Because in our constitution, okay, the government cannot regulate those three freedoms, right?
No law, ano yan? No law? No law?
So no law shall be enacted or shall be passed which will abridge the freedom of speech, expression, and of the press. Okay? So hindi yan pwedeng gawin ng gobyerno. But there are compelling reasons why in society, not necessarily in a state government paradigm or way of looking at things, but society, a group of people living together. Do not think of it as a political group, but just a collection of people living together and having to work with each other, having to talk with each other because they are in pursuit of common goals. As a society, there is good and compelling argument to discipline ourselves in our exercise of our freedoms of speech, expression, and the press. Kasi, kung tayo ourselves on our own will follow these rules and we universalize that and everybody else also does that, this will be a better place. Kasi walang nag-aaway, walang nagmumurahan at nagpapatayan because there are a lot of people who actually would kill each other just on disagreements of opinion. But the argument there, the compelling argument is there is a need to regulate or to somehow find some method of control over the exercise of these three rights, right? Or these three freedoms. But from the point of view of the government, especially from a government that follows a democratic constitution, it cannot be done by government at all. So then what are we left with to serve this compelling argument? There are two things. First thing is every one of us who is able to exercise these three freedoms should put it upon ourselves, not on others. Should put it upon ourselves to follow some rules on a decency and ganito ganyan na wag kang magmumura, wag mong insultuhin yung mga tao and all that. The other way is for a non-government group, okay? Non-government group, meaning it's a group of citizens that are private, okay, who will be the proxy of the government, okay, who will be the proxy of the government in regulating speech, expression, and publication. So, meaning there will be this group of elite because only these people would want to nominate themselves in that group because they think that they are above everyone else because they know more about the stuff than everyone else. So that in itself, that suggestion, that proposal that there should be a group to do the regulation in lieu of the government, okay, or instead of the government, that is elitism already. Yan yon. Mike.
To force
Yan.
people to do something which they are not comfortable in doing, na, is already
Mm,
non-democratic, and theoretically that is
that's
wrong.
right.
And
That is wrong.
what? Okay, what are the okay from our example, yung Chavez versus executive secretary. What happened
Mm,
there was there was a piece of information that the government didn't want to be broadcasted or publicized. Okay, and that
mm,
was the Hello Garci tape. And for them
mm,
to be able to do that, they used the NTC to threaten all radio stations who were being licensed by them that if you will air that, you will be sanctioned. And
mm,
then they also asked the KBP to issue the same to their members. So,
mm.
syempre, takot ka na saraduhan kayo. Then,
Takot ka
you
na
announce it
ma-penalize ng
also.
group mo. Yeah.
The Secretary of Justice went on TV warning everyone that if you will be distributing that or reproducing it or airing it,
Mm.
you will be hunted by the no, you will be hunted by the NBI.
Oh.
And then the NBI was ordered to hunt down every person who is in possession of the tape, Nailo Garci, because you are now holding material that is a threat to national security. O, di ba?
Mm.
Those things, using an institution to run after people's right to communicate, that is undemocratic and that is elitistic and that the Supreme Court didn't allow. Ano sabi ng
Yep.
Supreme Court? Our law is clear. Kung ano lang yung bawal, yun lang yun. And this one is not among them.
It's not one
This
of
is
them. It's not libel.
Diba? It's not
Diba?
the one of those things that are prescribed by law to be sanctioned. Now, where is this kind of theory coming from? Okay, kung sinasabi ng Supreme Court na there should be freedom in speech, then why are there laws that actually stop that freedom? Eh, sabi nga ng Constitution, there should be no law abridging the freedom of speech. But why can't you libel anyone?
Because in libel,
Mm.
technically, and if you really think about it, the philosophy behind the criminal law in penalizing libel is not does not follow the route of the analysis of freedom. It follows the route of go ahead, exercise your freedom, but if you said something that is
Until you hurt someone, you cannot do.
content-wise is wrong because it has effects on the safety of government, reputations of other human beings,
Mm.
you will be punished for it. So it's not the exercise of freedom that is being punished in libel. It is the exercise of freedom using or having a content that is harmful.
All right. Now,
Yun.
let's look at the history. All right. As part of our discussion on the history of democracy, we talked
Mm.
about the French Revolution, right? Kasi sabi
Yeah,
natin, we
yeah,
always look at the Americans. We always look at the Americans as the source of our democracy. But before the Americans, the first democracy that did away with their king
Asama.
was the French.
Hold on. I have a doubt in my mind now which came first. I think that the American Civil War, no, the American Revolution happened first before the French Revolution.
No. French Revolution first. And then,
Let's check it out. Go ahead,
Okay,
talk. I will
Okay.
Google lang. Google ko lang siya para sigurado
the French Revolution first. But the first
Mm.
the first judiciary that provided or no, that made the decision acquitting someone being accused of libel was in the United States. This was that case about a reporter who wrote something against the governor, and then this was the case which established the first defense against libel, which is truth. Okay? The reporter was able to prove that what he said about the governor was true, and it was
Wait,
of
wait,
public
wait.
interest.
Okay, wait. It says
Yes.
here, the American Revolution happened between 1765 and 1791.
Okay.
Okay? Ang
All
French
right.
Revolution happened in 1787 and 1799.
Yeah.
Nauna ang American Revolution.
No.
Imagine that.
Tinan mo yung
And
ano,
all
tinan
the
mo yung
while I thought, nauna ang French Revolution, but here it is.
okay.
But it's
Now,
the same ideological war, so it's the same thing.
mhm.
Yeah, alright,
Okay.
alright.
Yung 1765 is what? Okay. Anyway, so this is an 1881 law which actually derives its origin from the French Revolution concept of the freedom of man. Okay?
Freedom of man?
The freedom of a citizen. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? Now, etong batas na to was the first in French jurisdiction. This is the first outright na law on the freedom of the press, which actually is still active right now. Okay? Now, sabi dito, la liberté d'expression. Okay, hindi ako French, but it says here that freedom of expression was enshrined in France by the proclamation of the Declaration of Independence. Wala pa sa inyo, no? Okay, wait lang. Ano lang natin. Tanggalin lang natin because I know it's late. It's late yan. I-remove ko lang and then ibalik. Okay? Alright. So, what this law says is there is freedom of the press recognized by law, but this freedom is not absolute. It will be subject to regulation by law. Okay? Diyan nang gagaling yung ating there's freedom but you have to be regulated.
So it
Okay?
gives freedom and also gives limits
Yes.
to that freedom.
Yes. Okay? All right. Now, if I will just read para matagal kasi atang lumipat dyan sa inyo, no? Ang sabi niya dito is the concept of freedom of expression that triumphed in the debates preceding the Declaration of Rights of Man and the Citizen was not that of Robespierre. Okay, si Robespierre, naalala niyo yung ating guillotine guy, no? Ang nanalo dito, okay, was the idea of La Rochefoucauld. Okay, La Rochefoucauld. Okay? Ang sabi dito, Foucault's pendulum. Okay, a limited freedom of expression whose scope is defined by law, which represents the general will. Okay? So yun yung kanyang concept dito, a limited freedom of expression whose scope is defined by law, which represents the general will. So the debate dyan is between that and kay Robespierre, na ang sinasabi ni Robespierre is, when everything is allowed to be said, truth speaks for itself and its triumph is assured. Okay?
I like Robespierre. I
think it's there na, no? Yan yung part na yan. Ha? So if you can read there. So this guy who promoted the guillotine, or who actually caused the invention of the guillotine, is responsible for the kind of general definition of what we now call the freedom of speech.
populist na
okay.
speech.
Pag titingnan mo siya ngayon, there are two kinds here. Yung kay Robespierre is the freedom of speech. Okay? And then the other one is the freedom of the press.
Right.
Di ba? Nagigets niya?
Yeah.
Now, in terms of Maria Ressa,
Are they the same?
they're not.
They're not.
Di ba? Alam niyo naman yun, hindi sila pagkapareho, di ba? Now, si Maria Ressa now wants the freedom of the press to be repressed. so that only they can have that freedom or can use that freedom. And what kind of thinking is this? Okay, this is what we discussed last night yung nilagay natin doon na supply side
Yan,
market of information.
Yan yung
Why?
tinatanong ko kanina. Sige,
Yeah, go ahead.
tapusin
Sige.
mo muna yung sinasabi mo and I will ask
Okay.
my question.
Okay. So in this French legislation, which actually recognizes the freedom of speech and the freedom of the press, it says here things that are being used by Maria Ressa. Okay? Ang nakalagay dito na importante na ano sa atin is the 1 year. And now I know where she's getting that idea that the prescription period for violating freedom of the press by doing one of those things that are prohibited by law. Okay. Ito kasi sabi dito, they named 10 offenses, 9 offenses. Okay. Nag-move na ba sa inyo, hindi ba?
Bakit may nag-move na. It's okay.
So there are 9 offenses, sabi dito. The first offense is when you provoke people to commit crimes by your publication. When you provoke a certain number of serious crimes, in particular attacks on the authority of the state, that is a violation.
Sedition.
As seditious shouting or singing. Okay? And then itong mga naka-cross out daw, no? The provocation to members of the military, to turn away from their duties. Sabi nyo, yan, lipat na kayo sa amin. Aguinaldo did that, ha? Aguinaldo did that. They provoked the Spanish Guardia Civil to join their ranks. Offense against the President of the Republic. Okay? Publication of false news that have disturbed the public peace. Offense to public decency. Ito yung mga pornography, mga foul speech, defamation and insult. And then offense contemplated towards heads of state or foreign diplomatic agents. Ayan daw mga naka-cross out ay tinanggal nila sa batas na to pero nilagay nila sa kanilang penal codes. Now, do one of those things, then you will have violated that, then you will be penalized. Pero yung prescription period daw nito, dyan is 1 year lang. Kaya dyan siguro niya kinukuha yung kanyang concept. It should just be 1 year. Pag ni-interview yan siya dyan sa ano. And I didn't write that. I didn't even write that.
Yun yung defenses niya.
Yun yung defense niya. Pag ni-interview siya ng mga foreign na mga journalist. And then believe naman sila na parang oo nga. Kasi where did it come from yung prescription period? It says here. Let me just move it.
It's a very old French law.
Yes, this old French law came up with that 1 year period. You know? The procedural, statute of limitations. In the initial text of the law of 1881, the statute of limitations for press offenses was 3 months. The purpose of this short statute of limitation was to protect the freedom of the press. A media could not be prosecuted for possible offense that had occurred long before. Yan yung sinasabi ni Maria Ressa. And mali daw yung ating Supreme Court for defining it as not Supreme Court, Court of Appeals for defining it as 15 years.
15 years.
Ay unan muna nilang inatake ay yung korte sa baba na nag-define yan for 12 years. Dahil 12 years yung sinabi ng RTC. Sabi ng Court of Appeals, hindi yan mali. Hindi yan 1 year na sinasabi nyo. In fact, kung susundin talaga natin yung tama, 15 years yan. Okay? Now, sabi dito, however, with the development of the internet, the increase of public hate speech in circulation has led legislators to extend the statute of limitations to certain abuses of freedom of expression in 2004. Kaya bago yan, kaya alam ni Maria Ressa to. And the law in 2000, natin yung number, 2014. Okay? To extend it to 1 year. Alright? So this is where Maria Ressa is getting it. Okay? And that's why the foreign media, when they interview her, seems to believe her na parang grabe naman dyan sa Pilipinas. Ang harsh nila sa media. But we have our own system. And our own system, explain mo to me, bakit naging 15 years yan? Why do we count it like that?
What is prescriptive period? What is statute of limitation? Okay, yung statute is means law, the law of limitations. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin ng prescription period o statute of limitations ay merong panahon within which time, okay, uh, pwede mong hanapan ng remedy yung violation ng rights mo. If you're
Ihabla.
talking about civil rights. So you have so much time to file
To
your
file a
case
case.
against the person who violated your civil rights. In criminal case, ganun din because it's the state whose rights the criminal is violating. The state is also given this period of time within which the state should file the case and prosecute the violator of the law. So, pagka dumating na yung panahon na yung last na day of that period ay lumampas na, hindi ka na pwedeng kasuhan ng gobyerno for a crime. Okay? Sa civil cases naman, na-prescribe na means pasok na yung right mo to file a case against this person. Okay? Ngayon, ano ang basis niyan dito sa criminal laws natin sa Pilipinas, sa RPC? Revised Penal Code, ang tawag natin dyan. It is revised because we got it from the Spaniards. It was a Code Penal. But we revised
Código
it
Penal.
to us, Código Penal. We revised it to adjust it to our situation and we called it a Revised Penal Code. Okay? Ang sabi ng ating Revised Penal Code, all crimes in this book, okay, in this book which is the Revised Penal Code, will share a general same rule, which is a general rule on the prescription of crimes in this book, depending on the penalty that's imposed by law by this book for each of them. So kung ang less serious na crime, mas maikli din yung prescriptive period. Okay, merong crime na magpe-prescribe in 1 week. May mga crimes na sobrang maliliit na magkaan masyado will prescribe in about 1 month. Ganyan. At kung yung seryoso na talaga like murder, it will not prescribe. Mga ganyan. So in our system of
nakabase sa
code, nakabase siya sa
penalty.
Sa sentence. Kung gaano kalaki, doon din katagal ang prescriptive period within which kasuhan ka ng gobyerno or ng civil case another person para i-vindicate yung kanyang right that you violated. Yan yung prescriptive period.
So ibig sabihin, unlike this French law where they can probably set the prescriptive period per law, sa atin hindi. Sa atin, yung prescriptive period is may formula siya. Depende sa anong penalty, ito yung prescriptive period. Kaya kung gumawa tayo dito ng batas, makikita nyo, offense ang dinidefine and then yung penalty. Hindi na nilalagay yung prescriptive period dahil dun sa Revised Penal Code, meron dong formula na kung ito yung penalty, ito yung prescription period, prescriptive period. So yan, ay hindi na yan pwedeng inventuhin ni Maria Ressa na gawin dito katulad ng French.
1 year.
Pero kung gusto niya talagang i-insist yung French, mawawala din yung kanyang
defense, yung other defense niya.
Yung other defense niya na hindi naman ako ang nagsulat niyan. And this is very critical to our analysis tonight. Okay, why? It says here, the French law has a unique system. Ang tawag nila dyan is cascading liability. Okay, sinong may liability kapag merong libel or merong offensive na publication? Sa French law, in order to systematically identify the individuals liable for a press offense, this law provides for a system of so-called cascading liability. The first individuals to be held liable for a press offense are the director, the editor, or co-editor of the entity that published the incriminating comment. Otherwise,
yun yung mauna.
Kung hindi yan sila pwedeng makasuhan, kung hindi sila available, wala sila dyan, the author of
or
the
they have a
comment
defense
in
or they have
question.
defense.
Hindi kasi
So,
paano
author
kung
na ngayon.
paano kung doon niya naka-base sa England, di ba? Ang writer yung nasa France kasi yung publication is an English paper. And ang
For
author
example,
nasa France.
may alibay siya. I wasn't here. I have a defense of alibi.
Okay nga. Otherwise, saka pa lang magiging liable ang writer. So si Maria Ressa, ang kanyang defense na, I didn't even write that. It happened a long time ago, and I even didn't write that. Oh, la.
Right.
Okay. Slide.
What's going on?
Naipit yung ulo ng tuta. Sige, ikaw muna kasi tulungan ko lang, tatanggalin ko lang, ha?
What is that? Anong hinahanap mo? What's going on? Okay. Babati na lang muna ako.
Ilabas mo yung ulo.
Si Chuask Gen U. Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat.
I had to save my puppy. Na-trap yung kanyang leeg. Na-trap yung leeg ng puppy sa wire ng cage. Anyway, so it says here, there's a cascading liability which first makes the publisher liable, and then the author, and then if the author is not available, the printer, and if the printer is not available, then the distributor. Okay, so if a good example here is because Europe is a contiguous set of countries. Pwedeng doon yan na-publish sa kabilang bansa. So, kung ang pinaka-last na pwede nating habulin ay yung nagbenta, yun, saka pa lang natin siya gagawing liable. But it starts with vendor, the editor, writer, printer, distributor, vendor. Okay?
Anong nature nitong batas na to? Is it a civil law or criminal law?
Ano yan?
Kasi kung yung cascading, yung concept ng cascading liability only happens in our jurisdiction, which is American jurisdiction and Spanish, ay sa civil case lang nangyayari in the case of torts.
Yeah, but
diba na merong liability yung boss mo, kung hindi makapagbayad yung boss mo, ikaw yung cast.
Yeah, and this is daw not consistent with the common law. So civil law to.
Exactly.
Okay, kasi this is not consistent with common law because in common law, the author and printer are the first to be to be liable, and then in their absence, saka pa lang aakyat. Alright? Saka sa director or sa editor. Now, why is this important? Because this is the basis for certain legislations that happen in Europe now, which our friends there na nandito, who may be in other countries, are aware of. Narinig nyo na rin yan at nakikita nyo yan sa yung mga privacy na chine-check natin sa pag nag-sign up ng isang site. Meron diyan sinasabi na Digital Services Act, DSA of the European it stems from this concept. That since the first liable is the publisher, then we can also make liable the
author.
No. The platform.
Oh, yung service provider.
Yes.
Data service provider. Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So dahil dito, okay, sabi dito I don't know if it's from this text, no? The criticism, okay, the question of who is liable on social networks, the system of cascading liability provided for in the law of 1881 is coming under criticism today due to the fact that it is poorly suited in the way the internet operates. For example, it seems as though no one is able to properly assume the role of publication director with regards to messages by individuals published on social networks. More generally, as things stand, digital platforms do not assume any tangible liability with regard to the content published on their pages, since they are not considered as editors of the content, but rather as content hosts. In this context, the only individual that can be made liable for illicit content published on social networks appear to be the author of the content in question. The problem here is that on social networks, the author of a piece of content can be anonymous. Of course, this anonymity can be contested by judicial authorities, but the technical difficulty involved And lifting this anonymity can sometimes be such that the procedure is never guaranteed to succeed. So,
Yep.
okay, now because of this, they have come up with legislation that, okay, using that
That
concept of
problem. That
cascading,
problem.
that no, yeah, nga, this is
Yeah.
the problem, no? Now, using that concept of cascading liability, why don't we make it our law to impose penalties against the platform, and then just tell them na, okay, if you will not discipline everyone there in your platform, na hindi nila to
We will just
ipapublish
find
yung mga
you.
ganito, we'll just fine you.
Oh. So, merong incentive ang platform owner like Facebook, may
To
incentive
hire,
siya
to
kung
hire Maria Ressa.
i-suppress niya itong mga taong nagva-violate kunyari ng
Mhm.
right, right.
Mhm.
Hindi
Yeah.
nagva-violate, nag-abuse ng freedom of speech, expression
Mhm.
at saka communication.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Ayun. So that is now the issue where itong okay, the development of the internet changed the situation. Internet possesses almost unlimited memory and anybody can now access, read and disseminate the content that was published a long time ago. So this commentary about this law is somehow hinting that the 1 year is not enough. Okay?
Yes.
Sinasabi niya na parang hindi na to applicable with the internet. So, kumbaga, even this commentarist about their own law in France would probably agree with our own law na mahaba yan. Okay? Now, the other documents that we are going to discuss maybe tomorrow, no, you mas direct na attack on this pluralist elitist na strategy nila Maria Ressa, no, is going to show us more clearly what is wrong with this whole thing, no? But right
Yeah.
now, what we just want to tell you, or just for this night's
muna.
episode.
Na-late na ako sa pag-inom ng gamot ko. Inom ko muna ng gamot.
Yes, inuman mo na. So what we are focusing here is that our argument against the regulation that allows private individuals to step into the shoes of the government in terms of regulating our speech na mismong ang gobyerno cannot do, and that is what we discussed last night, is actually kumbaga nagkakaroon sila ng incentive to do this because there are legislations like in Europe na nag-enforce ng penalty sa kanila if they don't do it. Now, it also added yung nangyari diyan sa yung last January na yung takeover ng mga tao ni Trump sa US, and then they penalized Facebook for it, for allowing their platform to be used in the spread of again, they call it hate speech. But there are so many commentaries pala, okay, just like what we are saying and just like what our Supreme Court is saying, na who among us has the right to actually regulate hate speech? Di ba? And that is what they used when they criticized the actions of the Secretary of Justice pagdating doon kay Hello Garcia's tape. Because anong ba siya nun? Anong problema doon? Was this something na mali or false? No. Did it impute anyone against any crime? No. Is it true? Yes. Di ba? So why can you not allow it? Yun ang problema. So what does DSA mean? DSA is a Digital Services Act ng EU. Okay? It is relatively new. Si Pinay Paparazzi yung nagtatanong, no? And then there's also a German counterpart. And then there are moves na anong tawag nito? I-replicate siya sa ibang mga bansa. Now in France, since we're talking about France did something in early 2000 they they asked every social media platform to remove hate speech overnight. Ang penalty was 1.2 million euros if they don't follow it. Na parang every piece of hate speech, I don't know if it was very specific kung anong hate speech yon, pinapatanggal nila sa lahat ng social media networks in France. A few years later, even the French court ruled that law was unconstitutional and unacceptable. So France itself was not able to kumbaga keep that law. But the EU, yung DSA na yan has been very, napansin nyo yun, there was a time when marami silang pinapa-tick ulit sa atin, I agree, because there's been a change in the terms of agreement. And then when you build a website, merong restriction about kumbaga may reminder that it must be compliant with the European standards ng privacy, and then yung content, alala niyo yan? So that is a part of the Digital Services Act. So kumbaga there is a move na consistent dyan sa pag-iisip nila, Maria Ressa, and they even get some legislations. And that is very important for us because I'm sure in this Congress, meron na yan silang nakausap na congressman na nag-file ng something like that in our own. If not now, but in this Congress they will. Because they wrote this down in those documents nila na didiscuss natin dito. As part of their strategy for election manipulation. Di ba? Naalala niyo yun? Na kailangan nila mag-file doon ng legislation? That will be the kind of legislation you will expect to happen here. And if our congressmen are not smart enough to spot this, and if we are not smart enough to spot this, because we will think na, okay, if you want regulation, then we will regulate it like this. No, there should be no regulation at all. Kumbaga yan yung point dito. It's either you have regulation or none. Because that regulation that they are asking or they're doing is actually out of place. All right. Now, ang sabi dito, okay, Tene, balikan lang natin dito sa unahan Okay. So sabi dito, unlimited freedom of expression is okay. Thus, from an absolute concept of freedom of expression is provided for instance in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, freedom of expression in France is limited and transgressions are sanctioned by law. Okay, you see, the freedom of expression in the U.S. Constitution is different from the French concept of freedom of expression. Okay, but even in the U.S., because of that January 7th ba yun? Incident? Or 17th?
Yung kay Trump. Yung Trump protest.
Yes. Okay? So, etong balance between the freedom of expression often described as the cornerstone of democracy. Yan ito itong next na dito sa highlight ko, nakikita nyo na ba ito? And it's still moving.
Alin dyan? Ano ang simula?
No, it's still moving, no? Sa inyo? I'm moving it Yan, there, you see. Okay.
Okay.
Now, okay. In the last part of that paragraph, and then the next line before the subtitle, no? How does that delicate necessary balance between freedom of expression, often described as the cornerstone of democracy, and the repression of its abuses, been designed into law? Okay? Naalala nyo yung sa discussion din natin? Binanggit din to ng Supreme Court natin the cornerstone of democracy. So you see, kaya kami nila, Attorney Ahmed, we cannot reconcile it with our brains, itong nangyayaring panggigipit ng Facebook through, ng mga elitists through Facebook. Dahil it goes against the very concepts that we know are the basis of our relationships here. di ba? And this girl comes attacking us from all corners, and we do not even know what she's doing, and we have to know. And this is what it is: this battle between freedom and no freedom. Di ba?
Freedom,
It's here of
it
freedom
is
of expression in the free sense, and freedom in a limited sense.
yes.
That's
So
it.
another way of saying this is Maria Ressa talks about without facts, no, there is no truth, and without truth there is no democracy. So
Mm,
Maria Ressa still talks about democracy. Okay,
mm,
and since freedom of expression, as mentioned here, encapsulates all the three freedoms that we are talking about: speech, expression, and publication. That is
yes.
under one title, which is called the freedom of expression, because it is, after all, generally an expression. Okay, so when we say
Mhm.
freedom of expression is the cornerstone of democracy, and Maria Ressa talks about without truth there is no democracy, then she must mean that we continue with a democratic system, but not everyone has the freedom of expression.
Yes.
Only the people that I select and that are agreeing with me shall enjoy that freedom of expression, and everybody else we will regulate.
Yes. And
The question now
kami
is
lang,
that still democracy?
mm, and it's still that, is that still truth to begin
Yes.
with? Is that even truth, di ba? Kasi tingnan mo yung logic niya, without facts, there can be no truth. So therefore, itong mga fact-checking nila, they establish the facts. And from those facts that they establish to be the facts, not the courts, not what you know, not the truth, not the real facts, but their
But
facts,
what they say,
what they say are the facts, will establish the truth that they want you to believe. And from that truth, that set of truths which they can control, because those truths are based on their facts, their stories, their storytelling a lie, those truths now will make a perfect democracy. Just like uh, the Matrix. Di ba? Isn't that the
that's right.
Matrix?
The Matrix nga.
Oh, yon.
Meron pa akong isang sasabihin pala.
Mm.
Intelligent people like JP here, and by extension, because nakikipag-usap ako sa kanya, I can be considered an intelligent person also. And
Nyeh, nyeh, nyeh.
definitely really a very intelligent person, more intelligent than the two of us.
Oh,
Uh, Intelligent people do not talk about appearances of human beings.
mm.
It's not an issue to us.
Oh,
Only those people who know nothing else than what they see and can comment about would
ah,
comment about appearances. So, yung mga nagsasabi dyan na itong isang babae nga, MILF na whatever, calls somebody else Suraida, that
mm.
is an example of something that a non-intelligent person do. So,
Ah,
fool lang kami.
may,
Right? Fool lang.
alam mo, alam mo, alam mo, meron akong naalala dyan. Alam nyo ba na one of my most kumbaga, memorable and high impact na professor sa UP is an
Hmm.
80 plus year old professor emeritus teaching humanities, and her name is Dado Falsa, Professor Dado
Yeah,
Falsa.
yeah, yeah.
She was
I
very
remember
old,
that.
and
Hmm.
why can't I forget her? Because other professors, they read yung mga
Poetry.
heavy na mga poetry ganon. Ang material niya, The Little
Comics.
Prince. No, The Little
The
Prince.
difference. Yeah, simple,
And
simple.
ang sagot ko dun sa sinasabi mo, ang sabi nila, di ba? What is essential
Essential.
is invisible to the eye.
Right. So those people who think that what they see is essential and therefore comment on those things and nothing else,
uh,
not on our level. We are
uh,
here.
We are talking about the essential things.
Yeah. Okay. Munggo.
Yeah.
Munggo yan.
Uh,
And if she ever grows up, at least
yeah.
toge siya.
Ayan. Yan, lagyan ka natin yan. Ano? Oh, ito.
Alright.
Yan, oh.
Ano yan eh? May mahaba-haba pa yan siya eh.
Before
Before that
yung about
sentence,
friendship.
there's one sentence.
Siya, basta yun yung ano dyan, ha? Because there are a lot of talk there, which I really don't care about. Yung mga politika na yung mga puro noise, yung mga sharing,
right.
yung mga meme. Alam mo, it's
mga
really
meme,
so,
diba?
it's really so useless. And if I make a meme, hindi to noise. Hindi noise yun sa akin. I will show you a meme, which I will,
Sige nga, patingin
I will use tomorrow. Wait. Ilipat ko dito. Kunin ko lang, ha? Ilipat ko lang. Meme. Ito, bukas na ito. Bigay ko nito sa inyo. Ayun ang gumamit.
Yun nga, masasabi ko na yung munggo, kung lumaki pa siya ng konti, kung meron pa siyang growth hormones, hindi pa kasi siya maging toge.
Di ba toge one day lang yun? One day lang yun.
Munggo sprouts. Yan siya.
Kaya nga, it only takes one day to make that.
Yep. Pero
matanda
na siya eh. Paano pa siya mag-grow? Pare.
Huh?
But I don't really know her. I just assume that she's older than...
It will grow sideways. Growth din yun, ha?
Okay, mataba, ganon.
Hindi, growth din yan, yung sideways na growth. Kasi pag pinaiga mo,
saan yung beep mo?
upwards din yan. Wait lang, kasi mahirap eh. Nandito sa phone. So, I will transfer it lang. Relax ang pang-ending natin to. Ilalagay natin to dyan as our material dyan sa gitna. Oh.
Yeah.
I will show this because pinito dapat yung mga meme. Yung may kabuluhan, may kahulugan, merong ano. Pero minsan, hindi rin naintindihan ng mga audience. Kaya, hindi kasi sanay ang Pilipino na, alam mo yun, namnamin itong mga essential na mga bagay. Di ba? Yep. Isn't that the best description of our education? That we are trained to look for this to be effective. It must be delivered by someone who is a foreigner with a white hair. I have white hair, and then
naalala ko na.
He must be a PhD holder of whatever degree in whatever. She must be an economist, a doctor.
Meron naalala ko na. It is only by the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Yan yung sinabi ni Antoine Saint-Exupéry.
Yun. Oo.
Toge.
Yan. I-flex mo yan. So, yan.
It is only by the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. It is the heart. It is only by the heart. So you can only see with the heart. And you can only see, when you see with the heart, you see rightly, correctly, properly. You see the truth. And what is essential, therefore, is invisible to the eye and only visible to the heart. Now, if all you see is like Soraya, you're Mongo. If you somehow had a chance of growing up, you're Toge.
And the Mongo and Toge are all metaphors. Metaphorical.
Maybe they make gulay, for example, kampayan, like that.
You are very poetic tonight, ha? Ay, happy anniversary ata sa inyo, no? Anniversary ba ngayon ng Rosig?
Kami?
Oh?
Baka nasipa.
Tama ba ako? Ha? Anniversary ba ngayon ng The Great Sigma Rho Fraternity? Ha? Tama ba ako?
Secret.
Anniversary nyo ata eh. Si Carlo Berata nag-post nung kanina. Kaya sabi ko, ano ba yung sinabi ko sa post ni Carlo Berata? You're talking about something that cannot be said. An act that cannot be defined.
What?
Ha? Parang kinukwento niya yung mga naranasan nyo bilang mga batch boys. Naintindihan mo na. Oo. yung naranasan nyo, naririnig doon niya yung kaluskus ng mga hangin, na kumakaluskus ng mga puno, putik na putik ang damit. Aha, si Carlo Berata, apo ni Cesar Berata, magkakapulit-pulit at putik-putik na damit.
Pwede.
May nangyayari.
Nag-rumble kami.
May nangyayari.
Yep.
May something happening, di ba? Alright. And yung sinasabi mo is a crime, right, boy? And you cannot even... No,
we are not talking about that.
We don't talk about crime. Kasi hate speech daw yun. Di ba? Ganyan ang usapan dito sa media ngayon. Kaya bawal tayong magpapakanda salita-salita ng mga ganyan bagay. Nasaan na ito ngayon napunta?
Asa na yung meme na papakita mo?
Yun, nahanap ko. Ang hirap kasi maglipat galing sa cellphone. Magsalita ka muna.
It is only by the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye.
So, okay. Another way of defining that. Kasi saan ba tong part na to nanggaling? Ito ba yung namatay na yung kanyang pet, no? Namatay yung kanyang pet, tama?
Basta
Or
baobab.
Namatay yung rose. I think it was the
Tinanim
rose.
niya.
Oo.
Yeah.
Died. And when it died, it's crying.
Yeah, tama.
And then he wanted to bring something. Tama. Okay? Something back to space where he came from. And that is the sad part there. Very, very sad. Actually, very sad yung ano na yun, no? I find that
Sad naman eh.
yung The Little Prince. So kayo, nabasa niyo ba yung The Little Prince? How about the Caterpillar Pillar?
How about the Caterpillar? Yeah, maganda yun. At saka yung yung Livingstone Seagull.
What does it... hindi ko alam yun si Livingstone Seagull.
Siya rin yung sumulat na. At saka yung Caterpillar Pillar. Yung What's There?
Okay.
That's just Marites yun. Story ng Marites yun. Yung Caterpillar Pillar.
Story yan ng Pilipino. It's a
It's
story
just
of the Filipino.
climbing because everyone is going there.
It's climbing. Yes, it's just like social media. It's a social media and enterprise.
Jonathan Livingstone Seagull. Yun yung title doon. I think it's written by the same guy.
Okay? Kasi, di ba, how can you explain what is going on? Huh? Just because no one among the professors in UP are talking about what we're talking about, and maybe what we're talking about does not exist or it's not even true. Si Ahmed lang siya kasi JP, they're just inventing that stuff.
Sino to si Rocky? Si Rocky 1Dangkal, babae ba to?
Yes.
Babae to?
Yes.
Maganda ba to, pare?
Maganda.
Pakilala ka naman sa akin, Rocky, so we will know kung maganda ka or hindi. Kasi mahirap i-admire tong photograph.
Dark picture. I think.
Although I'm sure that you are not Munggo because no one here is Munggo.
Oh, of course. Alam mo yung audience natin, I love our audience.
Yeah.
Because they're I think the only Filipinos who are able to. Kaya nagtataka talaga ako at hindi ako makapaniwala na merong nakaintindi nung No Limit ang Hire ni Rizal. At dahil nabasa nila yung No Limit ang Hire, ay sila ay nagrevolusyon. Ang labo. Dito nga lang, tingnan mo. Itong topic natin. Ilan lang makakaintindi.
Demokrasya na to, ha?
And we are even supposed to know this stuff.
Yep.
Can you imagine na maisip mo kung ano ang ibig sabihin ni Rizal? Kaya,
by reading his novel?
By reading that novel? Yan. Ito na lang tayo. Yan,
Yan yung meme?
Oo.
Doktor siya?
Kasi mayroon ako nakita picture na napakalayo ng mga space dito, tsaka space doon. Yung pala, nakahanda yun para lagyan ng doctor, attorney, Lenny, Robredo, economist.
What the hell?
Na nagla-live show siya eh. Nagla-live show. Tingnan mo, may mga mic siya, ganyan. Sabi ko, nagla-live show siguro to ng Lazada. Kaya lagyan ko, ano kayong binibenta niya? Yung bakukang niya.
What is bakukang?
Do you know that that bakukang has been named after her NGO?
Beetle? Beetle? Di
Yes.
ba? Beetle sa atin yan, yung bakukang.
Yes.
Oo.
Yes, that particular beetle is a newly discovered beetle. I don't know if it was actually genetically modified to coincide with this discovery. Yung kanyang launch ng kanyang seller center, no? Yung Angat Buhay something, which has a very good
Yeah.
product na yung bakukang na yan, it draws a lot of clientele,
What
and
does
then
it
you
do?
can
What does it do?
ayan,
Ito, bakukang.
magkakaroon ka ng bulusok ng mga
Bulsok ang
volunteers.
volunteer. Maapaw na
Magkakaroon ka ng
donasyon.
donasyon, umaapaw.
Di,
Maswerte yung
di
bakukang na yan.
matumpasang tulong. Ah,
Kaya nga, alam mo kanina, napaisip ako kanina eh. Dapat hindi na pumunta si Bongbong. Dapat hindi na pinoproblema ng gobyerno natin yung mga disaster. Diyan si Lenny. Andyan yung Angat Buhay. Pakayan niya yun. Dapat iasa na natin sa kanya yung lahat ng disaster. Kasi warning yun ng World Bank sa atin na yung mga natural calamities will threaten our economic stability. So para mag-focus na lang yung gobyerno sa let her bakukang do the magic tricks so that all the problems of the Philippines in terms of disaster is resolved, contained. Di ba?
yan yung hangarin niya. Si Dr. Attorney, economist.
Hindi ko nga alam kung paano siya naging economist eh. Pero sige, sabi natin na bibigyan daw nila ng honorary degree, then fine.
Honoris causa.
Sa kanila naman yun, di ba? Hindi naman na yun sa atin. Di ba? Pero sana sa iba na lang. Sa iba na lang. Kaya lang marami nang nagbigay sa kanya, yun na lang ata yung pwede nilang i-justify kasi meron nang nagbigay sa kanya ng Doctor of Law.
Doctor of Law na siya eh. Lahat naman na gumagraduate ng law school ngayon, Doctor of Law na eh.
Kaya nga.
Juris Doctor, JD.
Oo nga. Ikaw, Doctor of Law.
Hindi ako, LLB ako. Because I come from the time when law school is just another college degree.
Yes.
Sa kanila, master's degree and doctor's degree na yung law school sa amin, it's just another college degree.
And along that line, si Lenny kasi was a graduate of UP School of Economics. But in 1986 or 1980s, in the 1980s, that was not yet BS Economics. It was not yet a science. I know it was just an AB Economics. AB Economics.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between AB Economics and BS Economics. AB Economics, right. They analyze things theoretically, while BS Economics, we're expected to analyze things mathematically. So we made AB Economics obsolete. Therefore, our Doctor of Economics, her economics is obsolete.
Ang sakit naman yan. But I will tell you this. Yung art kasi, yung Bachelor of Arts, okay, yung BA na
what's the difference?
Is yung BA is ang treatment of a subject is philosophical. Philosophical meaning yung deductive reasoning, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, and all that stuff. Ang BS naman, which is not bullshit, but Bachelor of Science means it's a degree in science because it treats a subject in using the scientific method. So there's a
repetition,
analysis.
precision.
There's a scientific method which is like repetitive, repeatable, and falsifiable. You can falsify it. Okay. So yan yung treatment. Magkaiba yan. You can.
Yes.
I mean, I am the BA graduate, which is a Bachelor in Arts, Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. At ang mga BA, pagka-graduate nila, ang trabaho nila, halimbawa ako ay philosopher. Wala namang ganun trabaho, di ba? Si Lenny Robredo, nung graduate siya ng BA Economics,
Mm.
Economist siya. Economist. Kasi yung mga graduate ng BS Economics, scientists. Mga scientists yan.
Okay. Okay, what are we
Diba?
showing you here? What are we showing here? This is the essence of freedom of speech. That we can talk about this stuff as long as we do not make bastos over physical. Alam mo yun, we can even do
Yeah.
that if we want to without really committing any violation of anything. But
But
because
why
of
do that?
this, hmm?
But why do
Because,
that? Why do we do that?
okay,
Why would we
for
talk
example,
about our physical things when we have so much to do and to think about?
kaya nga, because it's not essential. Pero look, we can creatively talk about the subject. Say, for example, our subject matter was to teach this audience of ours what is the difference between AB and BA. Di ba, we can
Yep.
approach it like this. But with
Mm.
Maria Ressa, alam mo yun, watching over us, you will be afraid to use this material. Because you will
Yeah,
say this
I'm
is hate
scared.
speech, this is false news, this is falsity, that is not a real picture. Those things did not happen. It made her appear like she is live selling in Lazada. That's the whole point. This is fake
That's
news.
exactly.
Nagigets niyo po mga kaibigan? Ha? This is the reason
Ang
why.
lakas mga sar ni Pinay paparazzi, tingnan mo.
Ano. Bigyan
Basahin mo
ng,
yung sinabi ng ang lakas
bigyan
mga sar.
ng honorary
Bibigyan
doctorate
nga ng
na,
doctorate, obsolete na rin pala.
obsolete. Kaya, ano ba yung, tatlo pa yung she has three. One is Doctor of Laws. The other two are, isipin mo, ako nga hindi ko kayang maalala. Ang dami ko naaalala ng iba-ibang bagay. Yung dalawa niyang pagka-doktor, hindi ko na maalala. Ewan ko kung siya, naalala niya.
Baka
Pero
hindi
itong,
rin.
okay, wait. Itong batang to, he was asking something eh. Well, you were asking something about grade 12 watching, no? Are you talking about yourself? You are asking us if you can ask your friends na grade 12 to watch us? You should.
Yeah, you
If you
should.
have kids, alam mo, these things that we talk about, no one talks about. Dahil, only a few people would like to hear this and that's you. Kayo lang ang pinili ni Maria Ressa na makikinig sa amin.
Yeah. Kayo lang yung ina-allow niya. All 291 of you, ang ina-allow niya na
Right now.
pakinggan niya. At least may 200 na nakikinig niya sa dalawang yan.
Right
But I am
now.
telling you now, what I am saying doesn't have to be the truth or doesn't have to be a fact because it's theoretical, and if this turns out to be the correct theory, well, aren't you lucky that you are listening to us? Rocky, bakit Rocky ang pangalan mo? Because you have rock?
But okay, let me show you this. Let's go back to our material then, I will just change the material, Wait, remove and then stop. Okay. And then sige, just go on. I will just change the material. Matagal-tagal to, no? So
At
this is very relevant.
What?
Hindi, ito si si Adrian. What do you think is Adrian's How do you address that?
Ano?
Yan, nakasulat niya, no? That he read Rizal's novel and he wanted to revolt.
Okay.
Why?
You wanted to revolt against what, Adrian? You wanted to revolt against what? Because Rizal wasn't even talking about a government or a political system. He was talking about what's going on in a society. So, what are we going to revolt against in a society that he described? That's a question. That is a good question.
And Adrian, if his picture is representative of his age, that means he's a student right now. Okay, ganito.
College na daw siya ngayon. I'm already in college.
All right. Let me tell you how my professor in PI 100 taught our class about the novel of No Limit Angere. Kasi yung di ba? Subject matter yun, No Limit Angere. And you will be required to take that. Wala namang mag-graduate. Parang ROTC, mandatory yan. Naman, okay, ako nang kukuha later. Now, sabi ng professor namin, who was also very old, if you came here to read the Noli Me Tangere again, then
Get out.
I will sign your slips and you can find another professor. I will not be teaching you that. I will just show you what the world was during Rizal's time.
That's
So he taught
right.
us the history.
Precisely.
Okay, he taught us the history of what Rizal saw. What was his world
Milieu. What is
for
milieu?
him to be able to write that Noli Me Tangere. And if you, wala rin siya sasabihin sa'yo what it means, but if you think about it, and it took me a long time to realize what he tried to mean. And now, I get to think, yeah, at that time there was no electricity, so when would you be able to read that? At daytime? And if there was really a prohibition on the reading of
May
that book.
revolution. Tapos
No, no,
nagbabasa kayo sa gabi.
no.
Gamit ang sulo.
Oo. No
Huli
cheating.
kayong lahat. Huli kayong lahat. Patay
And there are
gamit
no
kayo
other
lahat.
there are no other lights. So it must be in daytime. And you are reading a book that is conspicuously Rizal's book because you cannot have it Xeroxed. It will look
because there's no Xerox
exactly. Oh, wala. Kung ano yung itsura nun, kita yan kahit na malayo.
Manuscript yun, manuscript. It was written by hand.
Okay. No. There was printing already. Do you
May
know
printing na ba yun sa kanya? Pero yung
no.
kanyang, yung ating kopya, sinulat niya pa yun, di ba? Pati yung
It was
cover.
printed. Yes, that is the original.
It was not printed.
Didn't you know that as early as 1600, Manila
May printing na tayo, of course.
been one of the first printing centers in the world. And we were printing a lot of not only foreign written books, but a lot of Filipino written books. And not only by men, also by women. So yung sinasabi nila na, we were uneducated. Oh my God. Okay, now,
False.
Now, the problem here is those were printed in Germany. It could not have been printed here in the Philippines. Una pa lang, how would you bring a contraband book from Germany to the Philippines? Except to a Spanish ship.
Yep.
So, may JRS ka nun? So, listen asan yung bata na yun? Nasaan na? Bata, Ask your teacher this. How did he bring that contraband book from Germany or from wherever in Europe back to the Philippines if it was not allowed to be brought in a ship at all? After it arrives in Manila, how do you distribute it? Hindi yan dumaan sa customs ng Spain? At that time, my friend, the customs had no green lane. There is only one ship and they can inspect everything. Everything that comes out of the boat. Okay? To be taxed properly. And not only that, to be checked for contraband. Okay? Now, if it was printed, okay, sabihin na natin may nakapuslit na mga 5, 6 na kopya. So how many people can read that in a span of 4 years? Do the math.
Ang ganda na pala ng pangalan ni Rocky. Raquel.
Where did you get that?
Raquel.
So,
Adrian. Kahit makulit
Adrian
itong babae pala to. Maganda ba ito? Maganda ba ito?
Maganda. Lahat naman ng mga babae dito maganda ito.
Kasi makulit to Parang akala ko bading to na there is nothing wrong with doing bading. It's perfectly fine.
Ito si Pinay Paparazzi. Maganda rin yan.
Para siya bading. Because there is a distinctive way of acting.
What is essential is invisible.
It's invisible today. Now, I am feeling in my heart na maganda to si Rocky. Raquel pala yung mga niya.
At kahit ito si Pinay Paparazzi. No?
Ayun, syempre, matagal na yan. Ay suki ni Attorney Trixie yan. Maganda talaga yun siya.
Okay. I find that there's always a way to smuggle things in those times. Okay. Yan ang punto ng aming professor, di ba? Do not assume. Study the time.
Yep. Do not assume that I am talking about you. Find evidence in the post if your name is there. Otherwise, hungo.
Kasi, okay, again, Adrian, your interpretation of the Noli Me Tangere is a guided interpretation. And you want an interpretation that coincides with what your teacher wants you, how your teacher wants you to interpret it. And that is how our history teachers teach. Diyan kami hindi magkaintindihan kunwari ni Professor Mila Guerrero because she was teaching Philippine economic history. And when she asks us economics question from history and I answer it from an economic point of view, she wants it to be
And you were
answered
wrong.
in a history point of view. Okay? They want, our history teachers want us to think of history as the history that they teach. But, tama naman yun. It must be based on something, based on a material, not based on your interpretation. Okay? Like, when I attack certain aspects about ano, and we showed it here, we base it on a document that comes from the time. Hindi yung document that was written in 1960 talking about 1899. Then let's talk about the nearest document to 1899. And the most reliable one would be coming from who else
The
but
Americans,
the
the
Americans who were writing
Spaniards.
to their boss or the Spaniards. So do not go to the interpretation of the interpretation. Okay? That's what I can help you kasi walang nagturo sa amin ito nung kami ang estudyante. We had to find these things the hard way.
Not
But
because we are awesome, then we found it.
yes, in the same way that we found out what Ressa is all about. And then when we found out, and then now we see a lot of people have been harping on the same issues in other countries, but not in ours. We don't even perceive this as a problem. Alright? Kasi ang problema natin is a question of perception. Di ba? Sabi ni Little Prince, yung drawing niya.
It is only by the heart that one can see rightly.
But ang sabi, draw me an elephant, no? Or whatever, a sheep.
Draw me an elephant.
Draw me a sheep. And it was drawn like this. That's perfect, sabi niya.
Hmm.
The sheep is inside the box.
Yes,
Di ba?
that's right. And how you sense things, how you perceive things, is
When you know
dependent
something's really wrong,
on what
what you feel.
encloses you.
Uh-huh.
If you are boxed in a certain way, then you will see things in a certain way. Like, for example, if you live in Alaska, snow will have so many names. But if you live in the Philippines, you won't even have a word for snow. The snow to you is nieve, and nieve is Spanish word.
Huh? Oh, yeah, that's true. Because so how can we have a Filipino word when you never even had
We
snow
don't
here?
have snow here.
Oh,
Exactly. But to the Alaskans, to the Inuits, 1 day old snow has a name. A snow that is just falling right now has a name. A snow that has hit the ground less than a minute ago has a name. It has
mm.
so many names. Snow, and to us, don't even have our own local name for snow.
Yes, but if you ask them also, this is what they write about us. Huh? The American linguists. We have so many names of pets and people. Kumbaga, when they speak of people, they say John. Pero tayo, meron tayong si Suraydang Pangit, si Pepeng
Yes.
Mabaho,
Hmm.
si yung
Piloso
Mabantot
Potasio.
na Aso. Oh. We have so many, alam mo yun, kaming-kaming, like Marcos regime. Bakit pa natin lalagyan ng regime?
Son
Di ba?
of the dictator.
Oo, yung
Son
the sun.
of the nakaw. Oh.
Kaya nga sinubukan ko rin, diba? Nilagay ko, kunwari, the American puppet government of Manuel L. Quezon.
Hmm.
Di ba parang ang weird na kagad na pakinggan? Ha? Ang weird pakinggan. Pero pag sinabi mong the puppet government of Jose P. Laurel, okay lang kasi nasanay tayo. Pero pag sinabi mo ngayon, the puppet government of Manuel L. Quezon, parang first time ko narinig yun. But he was really a puppet government.
Of course he was.
Oh, but since we are not used to it, it becomes now strange to the feelings. So, kahon. Depende sa kahon.
Depends on the kahon.
Mga tanong na naalala ko sa prop ko, PI 100. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng PI pala? Ano pwede na? Ano pwede mong gawin kung kailangan mong mag-cause ng revolt sa present government? Can you do better than Rizal? Oh, okay. That's a nice question.
Yes. Madali lang yan. Actually, nasasagot na ni Maria Ressa. The problem there is that even before she gets to antagonize the government, the private citizens have already exposed her revolution.
Yeah.
By private persons, I mean the two of us. And of course, you, the 298 followers who are watching.
But this is what she should not forget, huh? She should not forget the long memory of the internet. Okay? You may be just 200 now, but it will still be there tomorrow.
Kaya and the next day.
And i-share nyo yan. And i-share nyo yan. And i-share nyo yan. At i-share again. And i-share again.
Viva la revolution!
The problem with information now is it replicates. It can have a life of its own. Diba? Some people even just continue podcasting or saying whatever, even with no viewers, because when somebody hits on that information and they need that information, it can boom.
It can explode.
Yeah.
Now, if what you're talking about is just really a superficial things like stuff like that, when the information is found in the future, like 200 years from now, toge pa rin ang dating.
Yeah, and those things will be captured as noise. And then imagine what the future social scientists will how they will judge our generation if, let's say for example, about 50 years from now, they come across this information on this day, and they will see so much traffic talking about Zoraida, and there is this information which is actually very, very important for the future of our country, because right now a threat is ongoing, and it's a real one, and it has its
a revolution, mind you.
Okay,
it's a revolution. It will defeat the government. It will defeat the regime. It will defeat our democracy.
And it has its effects, okay? As we have shown you dito sa mga dito pa lang sa Freedom House na rating ng ating democracy. Okay? We are rated now at so-so. When in fact we know this is not true. And it affects our loans, it affects our trade, it affects your life. Yeah. But the traffic is in another topic and not on this one. So imagine the social scientist who is able to review all of this with AI, okay? And then the AI will now analyze, okay, there was a podcast on this day, and there were only 200 people watching it. But on that side of the issue of that topic, there were 10,000 people interested about it.
Yeah.
Then
but
the future Filipino will say, ang tanga talaga ng mga tao noon, no? Buti na lang nakalkal natin yung impormasyon na yan at nagising tayo na yung kalokohan mga pinagsasabi sa atin na si Rizal daw pala yung nagano. No! It's impossible, ha? Sino yung estudyante? Yung estudyante, no? It's really, okay. I will not say with 100% certainty, but the probability is so low. If you look at the logic, wala.
That's right.
Wala.
I agree with you.
And isa lang, isang proof na because if they were really so impressed by Rizal's intelligence and Rizal's guidance and Rizal's leadership, so much so that they wanted to revolt, when they came to him and asked him to lead it, and he said, I won't,
said no,
and you shouldn't do this, they should have believed him also, right? Then why wouldn't they believe him?
Because it when was not Rizal that they followed. It was not Rizal that they followed.
Saan ba yung estudyante? Ito pinakamaganda isagot mo sa teacher mo, kasi hindi kami tinanong nito. Wala akong chance. Ikaw na lang. Why did they believe him when he said allegorically na mag-revolt kayo through a story, through a love story, na you have to interpret na ang ibig niya sabihin ay magrevolusyon tayo. They believed him na magre-revolution sila. But
he
not
did,
believe
you
him
did not believe him
when he said it straight. Na don't
No.
do this. This is not what I want. This is not what is right. He said it straight with his words. And you wouldn't believe it.
Baka ano yun, dilawan kasi yun. Sa simula, DDS siya, tapos naging dilawan siya.
Di ba?
Ganon yun eh. Accuse ka na lang bigla na ano ka eh, dilawang ka eh.
Former intellectual. Oh, of course. I like this comment.
What's that?
Okay. In the 80s, you know, we were born at that time. We are the we were born,
children in the 80s.
We were children in the 80s, and wala kaming TV. Kayo, may TV kayo nung bata ka pa?
Kami
Until
meron
7?
kami TV na black and white, tapos wala kang makikita, puro asin.
Simula anong oras? Simula anong edad na?
May TV
Mga
kami
8 na.
nung maliit na ako. Ha?
Malaki
Pero wala
ka
nga
na.
akong napapanood. No,
Kaya
may
nga.
TV kami na, wala kaming napapanood. Nagkaroon
Then you
ako ng
should,
TV na may channel
Yun-
na
Yun
after
yung,
na ng ano,
may box
after
pa
na
na
nung
kahoy.
pagkamatay ni Ninoy, yun ang una kong napanood
Kaya
na
nga.
balita.
Because there was no signal, di ba?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
We grew up in a different time, Joy Manuel. We grew up in a time when
Only
knowledge-
books were,
Yes.
our
Yeah.
pastime.
So we are yearning to the past somehow. Pero kayo, alam ko, digital kayo. Digital yung inyong mundo. Anak ko nga, hindi ko mahabol eh. Yeah. So, sino
Mabilis
pa?
yan sila matuto.
Yes,
So, yung
you
mga
are-
tao na ayaw matuto,
they will.
okay.
With you. They will learn from you. Okay? In fact, kaya nga mabilis natin paniwalaan yung idea na kayang i-manipulate mo yung utak ng okay, ilan ba Pilipino at that time? Asan yung bata? Sige nga, or whoever sa inyo ang makakasagot. Ilan ba ang Pilipino when they revolted against Spain? And how were they distributed all over the country? That's the reason why in the novels, okay, sabi niya, in the novels, every attempt to overthrow the Spanish government is foiled because he was saying that revolution is not needed. Really? Really? Was it foiled?
Sa novel ni, sa dalawang novel ni Rizal. But if you really think about
Dun sa kwento.
And if you really think about it, he didn't really say that we have to revolt.
He just said that there were
stirred up
revolts.
He just stirred up feelings that would sometimes lead to a revolt if
Or
coupled
just-
with other things, di ba?
Yeah. And, okay, yun. So, yeah, you have to think about, bata ka pa naman, at least ngayon, nasimulan mo na. Okay, choppers. Naalala ko tuloy yung discussion dyan tungkol sa mga choppers na Russian made na hindi natin pwedeng bilhin dahil daw ayaw ng US. Yes, this is
That's right.
this is an imposition that we really cannot do against. Anong gusto mo? You have to choose. Be practical. Di ba? Tingnan mo yan. So how would you
China
decide?
na tayo.
How would you decide now? If you're BBM, di ba? Should you be tied up to that old interpretation that was applicable during the time of your predecessor just a month ago? No. There's a new thing.
Yeah.
Di ba? There's a new thing in front of you. You have to face that. Lose all your experts or get that helicopter. The choice is so easy. Di ba? And ito, Adrian, lose your life or just enjoy the scenery with the Spanish, They were not, hindi sila masama, Adrian. Hindi sila masama, hindi tayo inapi ng mga Espanyol.
May mga masasamang ugali ng mga Espanyol.
That's true.
They did not really treat us like, for example, Lenin treated millions of Russians after he won the Russian Revolution, the Bolshevik Revolution. The Spaniards did not treat us the way the Americans treated us during the Filipino-American War.
And the Spanish writers did not treat us like Maria Ressa.
Yep.
And the Americans didn't treat us like our neo-colonial oligarchs are treating us right now.
Yeah. So there
Don't
it
you know
is.
that our worst colonizers are Filipinos? And they're gonna
Filipino,
destroy it.
mga tisoy, mga halo, mga
Halong
ganun. It
kalokohan.
doesn't matter, that's race, di ba?
Ha?
What is dangerous is the kind of thinking
Ah,
that would enable a system that will reward
perpetrate.
democracy that is favoring only a few people in a group to lord it
Yes.
over the rest of the country.
And that is what really our situation now is. And they're afraid that, okay, one more after BBM, they will really be broken
Gone.
down. Yes.
Yep.
One more. Digang, okay, every president has been a hostage of
Ilang
the
taon na tayo
oligarchs.
nun?
Huh?
Buhay pa kaya tayo nun to continue this this
This time, hindi, nandyan si De Adrian eh. I know this guy. This
tuloy
guy will
natin yung
continue the
buhay
same.
nila, di ba? Kagaya
No, no,
nung
no.
ginagaya natin ngayon, ginugulo natin buhay nila.
Itong Adrian na to, tsaka ito si Pinay Paparazzi, ha? This two, ito yung magpapatuloy niyan.
Si
Because
Rax
nagulo
din.
na yung utak na. Ha?
Si Rocky din.
Ay, supporter
Luna.
yan. Yun yung magpipinance.
Luna. Oh, tapos ano ba yung pangalan nung kanina?
Meron,
Si Ate
ito si Joy, ito.
Hindi mas importante yung
Ayan,
nag-message ng number. Si Ate what's her name?
Luna nga, si
Hindi,
ate,
yung nag-message ng number, may number.
Oo, yeah, si,
Kasi every time nagme-message siya ng may numero.
yun yung magpipinance, yun yung magpipinance.
Oo.
Yun yung magpipinance. O yun, no? Kita ko na.
Sige nga.
Bak, si Nila. Oh,
Yan.
Ate Nila. Yan yung
Yan
magpipinance.
yung mga bossing dyan.
Oh.
Hindi yan ugaling oligarch, ha?
Hindi.
Yung mga oligarch, nangunguha ng pera galing sa taong bayan yun.
Oh, ito yung
Ito
mga
si Mila, hindi.
shout out, At yung mga ganyan, yung mga OFW natin, ha? Na nagpakandahirap dyan at hindi malaman kung saan napupunta yung pera nila. Bakit? Bakit ang mura-mura lang naman ng t-shirt na yan dito sa Bakit dyan 3,000? Siyempre, si Tantoko lang ang nag-import niyan dito eh. Bakit? Makakabili ka ba ng... siya lang. Don't you think that is a supply-driven economy?
Supply-driven, nakalimutan ko itanong sa'yo. Next, bukas na lang.
Ito yung maganda. Supply-driven. Sige, kayo na dito. You read ahead. Our topic for tomorrow will be supply-driven. And we will marry the concept of economics, politics, and media. So you will understand what this whole goddamn thing is going on dito sa ating bansa. At hindi, wala. These people, dito mga komunista, they suddenly became...
Panis yan. Petty.
Munggo.
They are children. They're kids. They're toge. They're munggo. They're nothing. Ang kalaban natin, democratic din. Yan yun.
Okay, Manuel Quezon's government is a puppet government because it is pretty obvious. Yeah, you see, it's pretty obvious, but when you put the label, no, the puppet government
but if you read history as written by our historians, no, he was not the father of wikang Filipino.
And the father of the Philippines, kumbaga, siya yung politician na nag-secure ng ating independence. Okay? So, ano pa?
Yun lang.
Malakas pa po ba ang Rustan? Oh, what is essential is invisible to the eye.
To the eye. Yeah, konti lang nagsasabi siya na bibili. Pero,
yes, pero yung Nike mo, yung lahat ng brands na alam mo, sila lang ang nagdadala niyan dito.
Yes. Hindi siya. Ito si Rocky talaga, na-intriga na ako dito eh.
Is invisible to the eye. No.
Rocky,
alam niyo.
Rocky, wala. Interesting.
Okay, so, what?
Alam.
Music time.
May
Para
signal,
sa ano,
signal
para
na
sa
po.
ito tayo sa medyo mingaw.
Alon ng kapalaran, tumigil na sa iyong pang-aabuso sa akin. Ako'y nasindak ng alurin sa baybayin ng kahirapan at kalungkutan. Ang tindi ng sinabi ng aking kapalaran, wala na akong pag-asa, yurap na aking dangal, wala nang lugar pa akong masisilungan. O alon ng kapalaran, sana'y tumigil na. Ang tindi ng sinabi ng aking kapalaran, wala na akong pag-asa, yurap na aking dala.